Hi there, welcome back. Today I want to talk on the wound of rejection because this came up in my last twin flame video, and I think this may relate to a lot of people. I have already told you that my life was somehow spoiled even before it started, and I only found out recently the reason for this. And all my life, I have been holding a grudge against my mother because I had always felt that I have not been welcome. And my mother sometimes acted uh, also as if she felt guilty somehow. And but I didn't know why, and of course, I didn't ask my mother. I could not have done this. And I always thought the reason, or there was some kind of mystery around my birth. Maybe she has slept with someone else, or I was not the child of my father. Anything could have possible. But the truth I found out was in a somehow trivial, really trivial. And this morning, when I thought about this video, a truth came to my mind, which I have never thought of. That is that obviously rejection through the mother was a kind of ancestral pattern. I have made a video on, it's called How I Anchored a 5D Impulse, where I tell you a little bit more about the story of my father, if you're interested. So anyway, my father was not wanted. He was an illegitimate child and was a result of adultery. And the mother of my mother had a man and a child, and she loved them very, very much, but they died. I don't know how and when. And then she was somehow heartbroken. And she married a man, the father of my mother, with whom she had 3 children. But she didn't love this man. She despised him somehow. And of course, she didn't love his children either. So this just for a background. And then for myself, I found out that I was not welcomed because my mother was just exhausted. It hadn't had nothing to do with myself, who I am, how I am, nothing of this sort. Thing is, only my mother, when she got her first child, she was very young. She was only 21 years old, and then the children came within became about every year she received a child. So and in addition, so she had imagined her life totally different. And I know that she felt trapped because there are letters she wrote to my father, because my father was all the time away. He was always he was spending his time in hospitals, and so she had to raise up already 2 children on her own, and she was very, very exhausted. And then I was on my way. And what I found out during a meditation was that when she knew already that she was pregnant, she told me, so I was I was not yet even born. She said to me, I can never love you. And of course, I must have taken this as my thought. I must have adopted it. And so when I was born, I came to the world already with the learning that I can't be loved, that I'm not lovable. And of course, this is a very, very heavy burden. And this overshadowed all my life. So that was my trauma number one, my childhood trauma number one. And the second trauma I have regarding rejection is directly linked to this. So I came to Earth, and somehow I was there, but I couldn't be loved. This has already been quite disturbing. And then when I was a year old, someone else came, my brother. And this was, I think, even more traumatizing for me because I couldn't understand. I had arranged somehow the fact that I couldn't be loved, I think, but that now there was someone else, even though there was already no place for me. This was, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it. And all my life, this has been triggering and haunting me. Because I often fell in a relationship in constellations where there were other persons involved. And this came also up during my twin flame connection. And I did a lot of things to resolve the wound of rejection. For example, as I have been a tapping coach, I did a lot of matrix birth re-imprinting with someone else as a client, with me as a client. And this is a special form of EFT tapping, which deals mainly with all topics around birth, childhood, and bonding, and things like that. And I rebirthed myself twice. I could catch up the bonding process with my father, but with my mother, it was not possible. It simply was not possible. And when I noticed this during this rebirthing process, I received myself, so to speak. And I could never forgive my mother, never. I still have not really forgiven her. I can say that. But I have somehow come to terms with her. Even though the very bad thing was that even though she had not wanted me, she kept me very close to her. And I got a very special treatment. I was not allowed to do things, all my siblings, other siblings, and I have 4 more. All my siblings were allowed things to do. I was not allowed. But I didn't realize at the time. I only realized it in the last years, during the last years. Anyhow, how could I resolve this thing? So the truth that I discovered about the origin of the wound of rejection, this came all up during meditations. And the resolution or integration also came up during meditation. And the thing was that in a very meditative state, I appeared as a baby and I was there as an adult too. And then I started to tell my baby very nice things like welcome beauty or and, and treating her very, very nicely. And my mother was also there. And finally, she also, not initially, but later on, she also started to say things to my baby me. But it was very clear that me now, the adult, I'm the reference person for my baby me, not my mother. She was allowed to be there, to share what she had to say or to give, but I am the reference person. I'm my mother. And I am a better mother for my baby me or all my child me's than my mother ever has been. And so somehow I came to terms with it. Maybe one day I will be able to really forgive my mother, or so. But it may also be very well that this may not happen. Anyway, a very big learning I've had around this thing is that it is totally useless to say that you have forgiven your parents if you haven't. This is something that requires truth from you. Because it is also a kind of loyalty to yourself. And if this requires to be disloyal to your parents, then it shall be. So I don't know really how much time has passed. I think I could talk on for an hour. Yes. let's say. Now I have already, again, the problem of how to finish this video. I hope it was not too sinister to you, but I think a lot of people can relate to this because you always know if you are wanted and welcomed or not. And there are so many children that are not welcome. And it is important, if you feel like that, it is important to work on the feelings that come out of this for you, to free yourself from this. So now, have a nice day. Bye.